Hi friends, I'm Percival Holt. Firstly, wishing all of you a very happy Youth Day. And I'm very happy that ICYM Shimla Chandigarh Diocese is commemorating this National Youth Sunday by organizing this webinar on mental health and psychological well-being, which is a very essential and specialist on this topic. But then I have had a lot of interaction and association with youth and young people, being the national president, particularly being the national president of ICYM for the last 2 years until February this year, and even otherwise in the last 10 years of youth ministry. And so, what I will be sharing would not be expert views, but from my experience and my understanding on the topic. And of course, it is very important, not just this year because of COVID and the pandemic and the lockdown, but even otherwise. Mental health, anxiety, depression, psychological well-being is very essential to everyone, everybody. I often hear from doctors, from psychologists and counselors and mental health experts. They usually say that we talk a lot about our physical health, about health checkups. We would go for regular health checkups, but very few, or very few people talk about mental health, about a regular psychological health checkup. And therefore, I think uh, this topic needs more deliberation and more discussion, more open approach for us to be able to overcome the stigmas associated with it and to tackle. Because everyone has anxiety, basic anxiety, which is good because it is a motivating factor at times. It helps us to pump us up and to encourage us and to push us to do things in a better way. It keeps us motivated, but COVID 19 particularly may have made people either over anxious or lack of anxiousness. Now, to keep safe from COVID, we have all been told to SMS, that is, social distancing, mask, and sanitization. But in the current situation, some have lack of anxiety or what we call a bindas attitude. They don't bother about anything, they are carefree, they won't take precautions, nothing. On the other hand, there are over anxious people who are too bothered and preoccupied with COVID and dealing with it to the extent of psychological problems. Now, even in the past, society has dealt with health scenario based anxieties. For example, in the 1950s, it was tuberculosis. Then in the 1980s, it was cancer. In the 1990s, it was HIV/AIDS. And similarly, now it is corona. And so everyone is thinking about COVID, COVID, COVID. On the note of mental well being, what I have observed is at times ignorance is a bliss. We have a slum right beside the youth center in Faridabad. I see the people living absolutely normal. No mask, sanitization, meeting friends, usual lifestyle. And you know what they say? They say, जब बीमार होंगे तब भर्ती हो जाएंगे अस्पताल में. I attended a webinar on mental health last month. The doctor was from Mumbai. He was sharing about the COVID patients from Dharavi slum, and he said they had absolutely normal anxiety, no psychological imbalance. All their concern was reports कब आएंगे, कितनी देर रहना पड़ेगा अस्पताल में, खाना कब मिलेगा, कहाँ से मिलेगा. And on the other hand, I see people living in well sanitized surroundings and homes. They are freaking out over the virus, sanitization, hygiene, staying indoors, and then facing frustration, depression, etc. About COVID, I would like to say something. Eventually, most people will get corona. But being a biotechnologist who has studied diseases and viral infections, I would like to tell you also, most people with up to third level immunity will develop immunity towards the virus and recover. It is only the ones who are immunocompromised that are at risk. Most youth, now I'm talking about my friends and others of my age, between the bracket of say 15 to 35 years of age, that I interact with, they have been facing some sort of psychological or mental problems due to various factors. Now, this is not only this year during the COVID pandemic, but in general, otherwise. One is body image, how I see myself, accepting myself, my body, my personality. then family issues, then peer pressure, pressure from the society, from friends, from people around me. Then lifestyle is another factor that impacts our mental well-being. Career, finances, success is a very prime factor today. And of course, relationships and love, we know. And last is the stigma and myths with confronting all these above factors. Now, the COVID situation has only emancipated this for those people who are already dealing with all of these issues, and it has also introduced many others to it. In fact, I myself have felt the anxiety and frustration in these unprecedented times about coping with the indoor life, how to plan my future, what lies ahead, etc. And so I just have a few tips, particularly to my young friends, to the youth, which I think would help you think a bit more about your mental well being and how to go about it. First is if you feel anxious, depressed, seek help. Start talking about it to friends, companions, family. Don't think I'm not mad enough to visit a psychologist. And now there is also online assistance available. So chat with a specialist online who will help you shape your thoughts. If medication is required, take it. Don't Google and read about it and analyze that, okay, I don't need pills to cope up with the anxiety. Because a doctor would give it to you only if you need it. There is this saying, little knowledge is too dangerous. So let us not put ourselves in the place of an expert and try to treat ourselves or cope up with it in our own ways. Spend more time with your families. Chat at the dining table during meals about past, future, memories. Ask your parents to share stories. Share how you feel each day. Share about your day, how you spent it, how it was. Spend your screen time with family or the people you live with. Maybe watch a movie together, spend time on Hotstar, Netflix together with your family, play Ludo King or any other online game that you would like to play with your family, with the people you stay with. What I mean is, don't isolate yourself in a room and then try to kill time, because remember, time may kill you instead. Now, many places, for the first time, youth are interacting with their parents, with their siblings, and discovering that they are not as bad as they thought, or perhaps even enjoying the newly discovered company, while some are also fed up with having them around all the time. If you are away at a different city, video call your near ones, family, friends, people who matter to you. Share experiences from your day. Share about how you have been spending your days, the difficulties you have been facing, maybe the joy and excitement you have been encountering. Crack jokes, share a laughter together. At least internet provides us the option to see each other these days. But remember, do not get hyper connected to your phones and spend the whole day in probably video calls or gaming. That could also be risky. Social media was made to connect people from different places together, but today it has become life. Families, friends, and colleagues communicate on WhatsApp groups. Social media is the first thing we check when we wake up, rather than seeing and greeting the ones at home. It gradually becomes the way of relationship handling for the youth, and then they prefer to avoid expressions, emotions, the touch of people, having people around, sharing with people, spending time with people, and that is really risky in the long run. Be careful about what you share on social media. Visit reliable sources and share necessary information only that would help spread awareness or knowledge and not panic or fear, even if it is from a prominent personality. Because remember, even they could be victims of anxiety and panic. How I become close to my friends, it matters the most for our mental wellness. Ask yourself, if I am mentally down someday, if I am in a difficult situation someday, if I am going through a rough patch, if I am mentally disturbed, will this friend help me rise up or pull me down? And therefore, surround yourself with people who appreciate you, motivate you, and show you how to evolve and not criticize you. Sleep well, take care of what you eat. Step out and breathe fresh air, especially when you feel stressed or exhausted with maybe working from home, online meetings. Youth today already have a lot of stress of studies and what career to choose after that. Those working have job stress, बॉस के साथ झमेले खिचपिच, colleagues के साथ झंझट, coping up with the routine, work culture, a lot of things. Now don't make COVID another stress for you. Remember, your mental wellness is far more important than your academic grades or your appraisal scores. It is okay to fail. It is okay to miss an exam, to miss an opportunity. But talk about how you feel. Share about the feelings you go through with someone. In fact, today, what I feel is the best way to figure out someone's mood and emotions is check their WhatsApp DP, their Instagram posts, their status updates. It reveals what they are feeling, their desires, their difficulties, their hopes. And another very important thing that we need to do is laugh a lot and smile a lot. Watch movies and series that make you happy, especially when you are low. Don't watch a series that would make you feel heartbroken, shed tears, and sad. You know, there is this usual tendency कि जब breakup होता है तो यार मुझे breakup songs सुनने हैं, मुझे सारे heart break वाले movies देखने हैं. Don't do that. You're already low, and by doing this, sometimes we push us into the grave. Help others by acts of kindness. It boosts the feel good factor within ourselves. And for the present situation, I'm talking about COVID, even when you work from home, dress up well, look good, follow the routine, feel as if you are at work, and do not compromise since you are at home. And be certain this pandemic will end. It is not permanent. Now, on this note of mental health and mental well being, psychological well being, spiritual well being is another major component of our lives that supports and ensures our mental well being. It should not be a pill, but a pillar to our mental well being and peace of mind. Today, the culture is most people think of spirituality when their mental peace is disturbed. They begin to try yoga, meditation, spending time in prayer. For Catholics, more church going, novenas, fasting, adoration, binge retreats, one after the other, etc. At times, they overdose spirituality then, not because it helps them, but because they are desperate for help. Therefore, it is important to keep a balance in our spiritual life also. I never say do novenas, rosaries, chaplets, or spend hours in the church, etc. These are essentials that we should be doing on a regular basis, as and when time and situation permits, of course. For most of the studying and working routines of youngsters these days, it may not be possible to spend long hours trying to mend or build on spiritual wellness. Neither is it like weight loss, कि overdo कर लो and it will give you immediate effective results. I remember once a 21-year-old friend of mine from a very staunch Catholic family, very devout and spiritual. They would spend about 15 minutes every morning in Bible reading and reflection, and at least about 45 minutes every evening in rosary, novenas, prayers, praise and worship, etc. He would be so regular for retreats, at least one every month. He would hunt the best retreats available, particularly when he was down or distressed, and it would help him rise up and feel good. But this would not last very long. At last, one day, he shared with me. He said, Percy, I feel judged by God and by faith. I feel compelled and pressurized to recover from my problems. I'm tired. I have traveled and tried all spiritual ways possible, but I don't feel that peace. I don't feel accepted. Now, in that situation, I of course could not prescribe him another spiritual pill. All I told him was, give yourself time. It's no magic that would help overnight. Take time, even if it is years, and then seek help from God. He will give you the strength to endure. And now it's been about 4 years, and I think he is much better now, at least from what he shares with me. It is the same for most of us. And so, I again have a few tips that I follow myself. First, Spend sufficient time in prayer. It could be 5 minutes in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes at night, just before you go to bed. I don't mean scripted prayers, but just talk to God. Share a few things, ask a few graces. It helps build a bond and have that faith that there is someone for me even when others are not. Second, spend time to read scripture or spiritual articles. Few minutes daily, probably on the go while traveling, but best if you could spare time so you could sit and reflect on it and connect it to your life situations, your daily life incidents, maybe your difficulties. Uh, that would be more effective. Third, spend time in meditation. Now, usually meditation is picturized in a very different manner. You can have your own ways to meditate. It basically means creating the feeling and environment where you can introspect yourself and let feelings flow. I do it with some spiritual songs plugged into my ears and then spend time alone to reflect. You could also sit in a garden or on the terrace, it's up to you. Introspection from time to time on where I am weak, where have I gone wrong, and how can I correct myself is very important. This is personal and it need not be shared with others. It is to help you overcome your loopholes and to be a better person. And this is very effective and very important in the long run for us to know who we are, to know our self identity, and to know where we are going. At last, talk to someone. Just like mental health and mental well being, even when you are spiritually low, detached from the divine, losing faith, or feeling desolated in life, talk about it. Share it with a priest, with a nun, or religious, or someone who is spiritually sound enough to help you with spiritual pillars and not pills. And don't worry, God is merciful. Keep your conscience clear. Harm no other and keep striving to be a better person. Do your best and leave unto him the rest. These were a few uh, points I had to share, and as I said, it is not an expert opinion, but something that I try to practice and follow myself. And of course, these two aspects, mental well-being and spiritual well-being, are very important today for everybody because these are two things, in unprecedented times that gives us hope, that gives us something to look forward to, that uh, gives us that hope and that encouragement to keep going on in life and to uh, not turn back or to not feel abandoned or to not feel troubled. And so, with this, I wish you all the best. And once again, I thank ICYM Shimla Chandigarh Diocese for this opportunity. And I hope I have been able to do justice and help you. Please feel free to reach out to me and leave your comments and message me or reach out to me on any social media platform available. You just need to search Percival Holt and you will find me there. So, once again, thank you so much and God bless you.